A young boy discovers a Nintendo 64 in his dad's basement and decides to play it, unleashing a terrible mistake. It was an old, dusty console that hadn't been opened in years. The last game he remembered playing on it was GoldenEye 07, a first-person shooter game. But the image of the man in the black suit continued to stare back at him. It was as if the console itself was haunted by the digital ghost of a forgotten game. He inserted the cartridge into the console and turned it on. The screen flickered to life, displaying a pixelated image of a man in a black suit. It was a character from one of the games, but it wasn't supposed to be there. They tried turning it off and on again, but it was no use. The answer, of course, was that the game hadn't vanished at all. It had never been there in the first place. The game was gone and all of their progress was lost. That's why the screen had flickered when he turned the console on. He never forgot the lesson he had learned. Never trust a haunted Nintendo 64. That's why the image of the man in the black suit had appeared. And that's why the game had seemed to reset itself. No game had ever put this man on the title screen. It had been a stupid mistake, but it was also kind of funny. The boy felt a huge weight lift off his shoulders. He had been so scared that something supernatural was happening, but it turned out that there was a perfectly logical explanation. The boy quickly turned off the console, unplugged it, and even took out the batteries from the controller. Days turned into weeks, and the boy couldn't bring himself to throw the console away. He kept it under his bed, half expecting the screen to flicker on in the middle of the night, and that creepy man to crawl out of the television and strangle him in his sleep. One day, his friends came over to play video games, and they started messing around with the old Nintendo 64. They tried everything to get rid of the strange image, but nothing worked. As soon as the game started, the glitch was gone and everything seemed normal. They were moving erratically, as if some external force was manipulating them. The characters began to move faster and faster until the screen was a blur of motion. Then everything went black. They played for hours, taking turns controlling the characters and trying to beat the game. Then one of them suggested they tried turning the console on and playing a game to see if the glitch would continue. The boy hesitated, but eventually agreed. But then something strange happened. The characters they were controlling didn't seem to be responding properly. When the screen returned to normal, they found that they had lost the game. It was as if the console had somehow reset itself. They looked at the cartridge in disbelief. What had happened to the game? How could it have just vanished like that? The boy had been so sure that he had inserted the cartridge. But it turned out that he had actually been holding the console upside down, and it had slipped out of his fingers without him realizing it. As soon as they realized what had happened, they burst out laughing. From that day on, the console sat on his shelf, gathering dust